The first image that arrives for me is striking. I see something surrounded by difficulty, rough edges, sharp angles, things that could have cut or constrained, and right in the center of all of that sits something luminous. Something that refused to be made ordinary by its surroundings. And I feel this so strongly for so many of you right now. The conditions around you may not have always been gentle. You may have had to root yourself in soil that wasn't ideal, in environments that didn't fully understand you, among people who couldn't quite perceive what you carried. And yet, there you are. Still radiant. Still intact. Still uniquely, irreducibly yourself. There's more depth here than I first sensed. Because this isn't just about surviving difficult circumstances, though that energy is absolutely present. It's about what those circumstances revealed. Pressure shows us what we are made of. And what I'm seeing in this energy is that the pressure, whatever form it took in your life, didn't diminish you. It clarified you. It polished you into something that now catches the light in a way that is almost impossible to ignore. I want you to pause with that for a moment. Notice how this energy moves. It isn't frantic or urgent. It has a kind of patient, settled confidence to it. The way a diamond doesn't argue for its value. It simply is. Now the energy shifts, and what comes in next takes my breath away a little. Because suddenly there are eyes. So many eyes. And not unkind ones. This isn't the energy of judgment or scrutiny. This is the energy of people genuinely watching. Genuinely transfixed. There is someone in your life, or perhaps several someones, who thinks about you more than you know. Who has noticed something in the way you carry yourself, in the way you speak, in the particular quality of attention you bring into a room. They haven't told you. Or if they have, you haven't quite let it land. Because this is something I sense from many of you in this collective, you have a habit of receiving admiration with a kind of deflection. Oh, it's nothing, or a quick pivot away from the moment of being truly seen. The energy here is asking you to let it land. Just this once. Just a little more fully than you're used to. I'm sensing a message here. Someone is watching you and thinking, how do they do that? They are watching the way you handle complexity with a kind of grace. They are watching the way you show up even when you're exhausted. They are watching, and what they feel isn't envy, it's closer to wonder. It's closer to reverence. This resonates for many of you, I can feel it. Some of you are sitting with this information and feeling a kind of cognitive dissonance, because from the inside, your life doesn't feel like something worth watching with admiration. From the inside, it feels like barely keeping it together sometimes. It feels like guessing and second-guessing and managing and hoping. But this is precisely the gap I want to illuminate right now, the gap between how you perceive yourself and how you actually appear to the people in your world. That gap is enormous. And you have been living on the wrong side of it for too long. The energy feels like something is being lifted here. Like a veil. Now, something unexpected begins to emerge, and this is where the reading gets layered in a way I didn't anticipate. Because beneath all of this admiration, beneath all of the watching eyes, there is another quality. Something more expansive. Something almost otherworldly. There is an energy here that I can only describe as barely of this earth. Like a frequency that doesn't quite match the surroundings. And I want to be very careful how I describe this because it's subtle. It's not about being better than anyone, it's not about hierarchy or superiority. It's about frequency. It's about the fact that some people carry a quality of consciousness that is genuinely uncommon. That resonates on a channel that not everyone can tune into. You may have spent years wondering why you don't quite fit. Why certain environments feel like a frequency mismatch. Why you can sense things that others don't seem to notice. Why you grieve things that others move past quickly, or find beauty in things that others overlook. This energy is validation for all of that. Not as a wound, but as a gift. The dissonance you have felt isn't evidence that something is wrong with you. It's evidence that you are calibrated differently. And that calibration, that particular, precise, unusual calibration of your perception, is exactly what makes you magnetic to the people who can perceive it. This feels interesting. Because now the energy becomes almost electric. It shifts from this dreamy, etheric quality into something more visceral. Something hot. I feel something like fire enter the reading, and it's not aggressive fire, not destructive fire. It's the fire of genuine desire. Someone wants to be closer to you. Someone is drawn to your flame in a way they may not fully understand. They might frame it as wanting your advice, or wanting to spend time with you, or wanting to collaborate, or simply wanting to be in your presence. But underneath all of those surface-level framings, what they are actually responding to is your warmth. The warmth that you generate just by being alive and in your truth. At first this felt like it was purely about romantic energy, but now it seems more like something broader. This is about desire in the widest sense, the desire to be near someone who makes the world feel more alive. And you do that. You are someone who makes the world feel more alive to the people around you. Whether you are laughing or thinking or being quiet, there is something that radiates from you that people are genuinely, deeply drawn to. And some of you have been minimizing that, or apologizing for it, or hiding it because you didn't want to seem too much. The energy here is asking you, very gently but very firmly, stop doing that. For those of you watching as part of this collective, and I want to acknowledge what a beautiful group this is, this particular current is strong. The theme of diminishing yourselves to make others more comfortable keeps surfacing. And the cards are being very direct about it. You cannot dim your light to manage other people's comfort and simultaneously expect to be seen in your full radiance. It doesn't work that way. You have to choose. And here is where something almost precious comes through in the energy. Because the next thing I feel has a quality I can only describe as infinite worth. It is completely unrelated to achievement, unrelated to productivity, unrelated to what you have produced or accomplished or earned. What I'm sensing is something more fundamental, a kind of core valuableness. The kind that cannot be earned because it was never lost. The kind that exists simply because you exist. Some of you have been operating as though your value is something you have to justify. As though there is a ledger somewhere and you have to keep adding to it to avoid going into deficit. The energy is correcting that now. Very clearly. Very lovingly. But clearly. What you carry has no price tag. What you bring to the world, the quality of your attention, the depth of your feeling, the particular lens through which you perceive, is genuinely priceless. And the people in your life who are worth keeping are the ones who know this intuitively. They don't make you justify yourself. They don't require you to constantly prove your worth. They receive you as you are, and they feel richer for the experience. I'm sensing a message, someone in your world is holding you in very high regard right now. Higher than you realize. They may not have the words for it, or they may be holding back from saying it, but the feeling is there. And it is not small. The energy pauses for a moment here. I always love when this happens, when there is just a breath, a natural rest, in the middle of a reading. It tells me that what came before needs a moment to settle. So let that settle. Let yourself receive what was just offered. Not as a compliment to be politely accepted and set aside, but as a truth to be carried forward. Now, what comes through last has this wonderful, surprising quality to it. It arrives like a wave of joy, almost. Something almost childlike in its delight, but with a depth that only comes from having earned it. I feel the energy of genuine excitement, not the anxious, desperate excitement of wanting something, but the pure, clarified excitement of something already beginning to happen. Something coming alive. And it is being catalyzed by you. By your presence. By the simple fact of you moving through the world in your particular, irreplicable way. Someone experiences a version of joy that they hadn't felt in a long time when they are around you. Something in them wakes up. Something they had grown accustomed to managing rather than feeling begins to stir again. And this isn't about you being responsible for anyone else's emotional state, that is not the message here. The message is more beautiful than that. It is that your aliveness is contagious. Your genuine, full-spectrum, thoroughly unique presence has an effect on the people around you that you may be entirely unaware of. There are people in your world who are more alive because you exist. Who think more expansively, feel more deeply, notice more beauty, because somehow, being near you expanded what they thought was possible. Feel the weight of that. Now the energy begins to settle. It moves from that electric, joyful surge back towards something quieter. Something more like the water at the edge of a tide, not retreating, just becoming still. And what I feel here, sitting with everything that came through in this reading, is an overwhelming sense of the quiet tragedy of self-unawareness. So many extraordinary people moving through the world never quite believing that they are what they are. Never quite receiving the truth of their own beauty and rarity. And I want to say, to whoever needed this today, and I believe this will land for a number of you watching, that you have been living in that quiet tragedy. And it can end now. Not because the outside world will suddenly become easier or clearer, but because something inside you can choose to receive what has always been true. You are seen. You are admired. You are a source of warmth and light and genuine, specific, unrepeatable value in the lives of the people around you. And the universe, whatever you call that intelligence larger than yourself, is in the business of making sure that the right people find you, and that when they do, they recognize in you something they have been looking for. The reading is still moving through one final current, and it feels like an invitation more than a message. An invitation to stop performing for approval and to simply be. Because the people who are meant to witness your particular brilliance are not looking for a performance. They are not going to be won by effort or strategy or the careful management of your image. They are going to be magnetized by your authenticity. By the moments when you forget to curate yourself and you simply are. Those are the moments that arrest people. Those are the moments that make someone pause and think, what is that? Whatever that is, I want to be near it. You are a rose among thorns, and I use that image not to be poetic but because it is precisely what the energy shows me. You grow where you grow. You bloom where you are. And the contrast between your particular luminosity and the rougher things that surround it only makes you more visible, more striking, more undeniably, searingly beautiful. The thorns were never your undoing. They were always your context. And for those of you who have been feeling invisible lately, who have been doing the work, holding the energy, showing up faithfully, and wondering if anyone notices, this reading is especially for you. They notice. They are watching. They may not have the courage yet to tell you directly. They may be processing what they see because it is somewhat dazzling and humans sometimes need time to adjust to brightness. But they see you. In the quiet hours, when they are alone, they think of you and they feel grateful. Let yourself receive that. Let it move through you rather than deflecting it. You don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to go looking for evidence. You don't have to test it or prove it or earn it. It is simply already true. What I want to leave you with, as this energy gently completes itself, is a single clear feeling. You are rare. Not in a way that separates you from humanity, you are also deeply, beautifully, vulnerably human. But within that humanity, you carry a frequency that is genuinely uncommon. And the world, the people in it, the moments that make it worth inhabiting, is better for your presence. More textured. More illuminated. More alive. Whatever season you are in right now, whatever is difficult, whatever feels uncertain or unresolved, please carry this with you. You are being seen. You are being held in admiration by people who may never find exactly the right words for it. You are someone that others experience as a gift, even when you feel like a burden to yourself. The energy of this reading doesn't end here. It moves with you, like a particular quality of light that follows you into the next moment and the one after that. And I hope that something in this landed where it was meant to. I hope that somewhere, something loosened, or softened, or settled. I hope that someone, maybe you in this moment, chose, even slightly more than before, to believe in their own rarity. That belief is not arrogance. It is accuracy. Take care of yourself. You are something worth taking care of.